side of the Fourth Reich.
I said, you know all about programming and demons, all that? Yes. I said, I looked right at him and I said, Wilfred, why are they here in England? Instantly, he said, they're here to collapse our government. They're here to help bring in and usher in the Antichrist and the New Order.
A lot of these patriots, they got their guns and they got their provisions and they're bugged out off-grid. It's going to be a lot worse for you. Not only is that not going to protect you, they're going to come for you and they're going to take you on the ground and they're going to do things to you and your family you don't even want to think about.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for coming by. Okay, today, those first couple clips you heard was from Max Spiers, Russ Dizdar, and Whistleblower Tom. Okay, and the reason why I played them is because they are talking about the Fourth Reich, okay, as rising up as Zionism, the deep state. Also, Russ Dizdar is talking about satanic ritual abuse. Okay, what had happened was a dear friend of mine had watched the Abaddon documentary that I did and asked, well, why, Eric, would they be taking the people underground and torturing them? Why wouldn't they just go ahead and kill us quickly and get it over with? Well, that's a great question, and I believe Russ Dizdar is going to answer that for us because what happens is this negative energy, this demonic energy, the more torture, the more fear, the more trauma, torment, and pain that they can cause, especially in children. Why do you think half a million children disappear just in the United States alone every year? They are everything they do, just as I said in the Abaddon, Angel of the Abyss documentary, everything that they do is to bring about the opening of this pit and to usher in the Antichrist, the New World Order beast system, and they're well on their way to doing it. So Max Spiers, let's have a look and see. For a lot of you folks that may not have known who Max Spiers was, of course they call him just a conspiracy theorist, and he got into the Super Soldier program. He claimed to be a super soldier, and there's a lot of relevance to that. Russ Dizdar will explain that in this clips that I'm about to put up for you guys in a short few minutes here. But yeah, Max Spiers, he was a conspiracy theorist, so they said, and he really unveiled a lot of information. And what had happened was when he was killed, or they say he drug overdosed. Yeah, well, he vomited black goo. Okay, well, I don't know about a drug overdose, but I've never vomited up black goo. Okay, guys, that sounds like something that they did to take him out. So here he is right here. Okay, this is my Max Spiers, okay, conspiracy theorist, after vomiting dark fluid. Reminds me of black goo. Overdosed on anxiety drugs. Okay, well, that's what they're going to tell us, all right? But Max Spiers has good information, so you're just going to hear a little clip from him, and then we're going to get into Russ Dizdar. Now, who's Russ Dizdar? Russ Dizdar is... he's a licensed and ordained minister, and for a long, long time, he's been around forever. Most people know who he is. He was a former police chaplain at the University of Akron Police Department and was permitted to teach on occult satanic crimes, okay, satanic ritual abuse. Russ works with the victims for satanic ritual abuse and has investigated satanic rituals, occult crimes, and mind control, okay? That's what we're talking about. Russ founded the agency Shatter the Darkness in 1982, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so anyways, yeah, so this man, he's been around doing this for a long, long time. So the clip that I'm going to play from him is very relevant, and you guys should take it to heart. I purchased an EMF detector, an electromagnetic frequency detector for these microwaves. Now, if you haven't looked at some of my previous vids, guys, and I know people aren't too interested in targeted individuals unless you're specifically targeted or unless you're going through these symptoms of Wi-Fi radiation, microwave radiation frequencies. EMF, I'm hoping that with the EMF detector, I will actually have physical proof on the EMF detector that this technology is being used against me, because as I have even said in previous vids, and there's another directed energy beam, I understand that people, if it's not affecting you directly, you're like not too worried about it. But once this 5G system goes hot everywhere, okay, everybody's going to be targeted. If you don't do exactly as you are meant to do, they will have the ability to just zap you and target you, okay? So I'm hoping with this EMF detector that I got, I'll be able to show you guys what appliances, what types of devices are in your home are causing high dangerous levels of electromagnetic frequency. You know, that's just something I'm trying to work on. Also to prove also to loved ones and people around me that, yeah, guys, this is pretty serious and we need to take it serious, because if they're using it against me and doing military drills, not drills rather, I'm sorry, but military tests, okay, and doing testing on people without their consent, even if they're well aware of it, okay, then rest assured, guys, they're going to do it to everybody soon enough. So let's get going. Let's continue on with the video with Russ Dizdar, Max Spiers, and of course Whistleblower Tom.
One of the big secrets of Freemasonry is that the father becomes the son. So let's use Egypt as an example, because it's an easy example.
There's one eye on the top of the pyramid.
That's his eye.
The same.
Yeah, it's also mocking.
And also, we are watching you, Big Brother.
Sure. It's like okay. It's like this. It's like they took his eye because Horus is much more powerful than all of these beings. But it's like we took his eye, we put it up there, and we're using the good, his eye, to watch you. So it's double mock, double, evil.
Okay, so this duality was also reinforced in the 20th century by so-called Holocaust.
Yes.
Which was organized by the Jews themselves.
Right.
Rothschild, Bauer,
right.
Bush.
Okay, the Bauer-Bush family, yes.
Okay, and yesterday you said that the Bush was the Bauer family,
yes.
But we know also that Bauer was the name of the Rothschild. So
yes.
How do you explain that?
Because they're tricksters, and they a lot of the Jews that claim to be hardcore Jews are in fact Nazis.
Yes, of course. They organized everything.
I'm talking about in the media, in the mainstream entertainment industry, some of the ones who, I'm not going to say names, the ones who claim to be hardcore Jews and who look very, very Jewish are in fact not Jewish at all. They are working on the side of the Fourth Reich.
They are working on the side of the Fourth Reich.
So this Max Spier here, who was murdered, I firmly believe he was murdered. He revealed too much after his last interview. Now he talks about a lot of crazy things, such as the Super Soldier program, jump rooms, which get into interdimensional travel. Now, as crazy as that sounds to people like us, he speaks a lot of truth. And from his perception, okay, he's speaking the truth. And he speaks a lot about bringing in these demons for host bodies. That's why it's important that I played something from a Super Soldier, because as we get into Russ Dizdar next, he is going to go ahead and talk about people just like Max Spier here. Okay, and another one, Michael Prince, who I researched some time ago. These guys have a lot of information about cloning and such things as that. But let's listen to Russ Dizdar in this next clip.
What is the Black Awakening?
It's related to the Red Horse prophecy in Revelation. It's related to 2 Thessalonians 2, when it says about the day of the Lord, the parousia. That day will not occur until the apocalypse of the Antichrist and the apostasia, the word rebellion or revolt. That's all really defined in the prophecy of the Red Horse. But here's where the term came from and why I used it purposely. When I started dealing with ritually abused individuals, then we dealt with military-oriented, highly trained, programmed shooters and assassins inside of them. When we began to deal with them, I dealt with someone from Fort Bragg for quite a while and a few others. We were sitting in a lake, Conneaut Lake. They reached over and ripped open my shirt to see if I was wired, if I was wiring and recording them. And they were the most sophisticated satanic warrior type person. They knew 5-6 languages. They knew the ancient Twilight languages. They knew how to conjure. They knew how to use Belteshazzar, Okwam, all these old Pictish languages of the Druids to summon. They are the real Luciferian. They've been through many human sacrificial things. So they sat there to tell me some of those things, what they've been involved with, how they sacrifice a human. I'm listening to all this stuff from them. And then they said to me, you have no idea, Russ, how many of us there are out there. How many satanic, they use the term, chosen ones. You have no idea how many. You have no idea what's coming. We smell Christian blood. We are waiting for our day. And when the call is given, millions of us will be released. And they looked at me and said, you believe in revivals and you believe in Pentecost and the power of God. You believe in all that. We believe in the Black Awakening, a multi-continental release of power to activate the program demonized, where they've weaponized the demonic powers to these super soldiers.
Are they waiting for a specific time to unleash their power?
Yeah, they are, because they have to do it at the moment the Antichrist is, like you read in 2 Thessalonians 2, that it's caught the echo, the restrainer is holding back the apocalypse of the Antichrist, the unveiling in his movement. So right now he's held restrained. Soon as he who restrains is removed, soon as that occurs, we have White Horse, the release of the Antichrist. Instantly, we have the release of the red. It says the whole earth. Arraign, peace is taken from the whole earth, and all of a sudden, it doesn't give the details, but all of a sudden, on a global scale, people are released to begin to, and the Greek word is svadzo, slaughter, begin to slaughter people. It's used of animal ritual butchery to begin to slaughter individuals. That's exactly how they defined it to me back in the 90s. And we've heard this again and again and again. So that scenario fits the Masonic version of Chaos Before a New Order. It fits Father Meridon from the Cathedral of the Black Goat, his book, The Devil's Bible. It fits that scenario too. So some of the oldest, darkest occultists, the idea of chaos first, a collapsing of everything so that a new order can rise, that's all by design. And we've been given the heads up in prophecy, but all prophecy has boots on the ground. It'll all eventually happen. So I do believe that millions and millions of these trained, programmed, altered, demonized super soldiers, whether we want to say it or not, they believe they're being raised to help bring the Antichrist in. When I was in England just a few months ago, their top guy that deals with SRA, Wilfred Wong, 25 years. So first time I meet him, I pull him aside and I said, listen, you've been doing this 25 years? Yeah. I said, you know all about programming and demons, all that? Yes. I said, I looked right at him and I said, Wilfred, why are they here in England? Instantly, he said, they are here to collapse our government. They are here to help bring in and usher in the Antichrist and a new order. He didn't know me. He already knew. That's true in Germany when we were in Germany, when we went to Wedelsberg Castle. That's true in Poland when we went there. That's true in Switzerland. It's true in Canada. So when we talk about our research in 38 years worldwide, there may be well over 100 million generations of them. And if even half, or even if 10% were intact, like say the United States, remember the shooter in Vegas? Look what he did. Look what that guy did. Okay, notice what would happen if 10,000 of them, or like Colorado Holmes, or like Jared in Arizona, what if 10,000 of them were released in 1 week? That's their plot plan, and biblical prophecies ahead of that to say here is what is going to happen, and from that a global monetary collapse, and from that's all that chaos is coming. So Revelation 13, a whole new order with the Antichrist can come.
Wow. Scary stuff.
Yeah. Can be. It's scary for the world. For us,
yeah.
We know no matter what. Yeah.
Bolden with the Holy Spirit. Yeah. So next question. This is
two-part question. First part, does SRA exist? And if so, how prevalent is it in society today?
Yeah, satanic ritual abuse, and I could say it this way, it not only exists, satanic ritual abuse is inseparably connected to multiple personality disorder. All of society knows since the late 70s, and even DSM-3, DSM-4, those are the diagnostic manuals for psychology. They all know that all of a sudden, multiplicity started showing up everywhere. They call it DID now. So the secular world, they're registering, millions coming in for diagnosis on that. Now, they don't know how to handle the satanic side. So I'm going to tell you just straight out, after 38 years of dealing with it, not only is SRA real here in the United States, that there are millions of victims by design, that there's now generations of them. We deal with 65 and 70-year-olds. They're the first generation. Then we go to 40-year-olds and 20-year-olds. I got 8-year-olds and 12-year-olds we're dealing with. Because if you don't stop this somewhere, they do it to the next generation. That's by design. That's the way it's supposed to be for them. So, but it occurs in selection. It's generational. It caused and it's simply to say that they bring a lot of trauma to the child to cause split in personality, so that they can demonize and or begin to program. You're going to be a witch. You're going to be a conjurer. You're going to be a program shooter. All kinds of these things happen. And then they're raised in that system, and they're raised to keep all of that hidden down and just have kind of little Joey up or little Sally up. And they may not know until they're 15, 16, they may not know what's inside them till later on. But millions have already showed up at psych wards all across America since the late 70s to this day. We look at a child and automatically, we're going to protect them, save them, guard them, whatever it takes. They look at a child, they'd eat it alive, they destroy it, they'd torture it. You gotta remember, that's their nature. And so if they can show more of their nature to a defenseless child, they love that. That's why some rituals are called demon revels or satanic revels. The younger the child, here's exactly what dark undergrounders have said to me, the younger, the better. And we never kill them right away. We prolong the torture. Why? Because we have to raise the energies, the terror, the fear, and then little by little letting some blood out, because blood is and all that torment, it's like, think in terms of rats and garbage. Smelly old garbage draws the rats. A ritual with all that torture, with all that pain, ultimately prescribed by the demons in the first place, it draws them. And once they begin to open the blood gate, that's what they attach to in the context ritual. Then when a child or a human is killed, that's when the demons are released to the practitioners. So it's all about their unsatiable hatred of God, anything they can do to harm humanity, harm innocence as an attack on God in a sense. There's no question, in their nature, they don't shed a tear. They don't have any mercy. So they'll harm, and they love that as part of the entrance to come into the sun. Here's the other side of it. We've been to Canada, Scotland, Geneva, Switzerland, Germany, Poland. They're all over there. We just got back from Scotland, UK, and we met one of the guys there, one of the leaders in the whole nation on the subject, and same issue. It stems from the original Nazis creating a master race. Wherever the Nazis went in the early 50s, rat lines all around the planet, wherever you see them going to escape, then you see the rise of SRA. So we need to rename this. SRA that's the tools to hammer this in and to augment these people and to bring the demonization and to create them. But really it is part of the master race development that started back in the late 30s. And Himmler's goal was to create 200 million of them. That was his stated goal.
Okay, that was Russ Dizdar. Now, I hold him in high regards. Not only was he, a detective in satanic ritual abuse, high crimes, this man, he has inside connections, and he knows what he's talking about when it comes to spiritual warfare, demons, and this technology that is suppressed and hidden in these underground military bases and such. Now let's look at the Friends of David Goldberg channel. This is Whistleblower Tom. This next clip talking about the 5G kill grid, as well as the AI program, Project Zypher, and Project Pogo. So let's have a listen to this clip here, guys.
The truth. I mean, if you know the truth, they're going to come after you. They want these people alive, and they're going to do experiments on them. They're going to do torture on them. The things that go on down there are beyond anything you can imagine. I'm talking about chimeras. I'm talking about where they're combining our DNA with animals and creating hybrid creatures. That's just an example of things they do.
Okay, so yeah, he's talking about hybrid creatures. They're doing experiments to create. That's why they're taking these people to the underground bases. Also, by creating that powerful negative energy that acts as a conduit, as a doorway for these entities from the other side to come into this realm and then to take on host bodies, as Russ Dizdar was explaining, in these perhaps millions of super soldiers that believe they are bred to bring in this Antichrist Messiah. Okay, so let's listen a little more to what Whistleblower Tom has, and then we'll wrap it up.
That's the real terrifying aspect of it. I mean, it's easier if they just kill you and you get to go to heaven. For a lot of these patriots, they got their guns and they got their provisions and they're bugged out off-grid. It's going to be a lot worse for you. Not only is that not going to protect you, they're going to come for you, and they're going to take you on the ground, and they're going to do things to you and your family you don't even want to think about. And it is in the documents. David showed them to me. I laid eyes on them. Now, some people might not understand the relationship there. My military source told me about Project Zypher and Project Pogo over a year. Well, it was a couple different occasions. Before I knew about David and met David, he told me about all this, but he did not use the names of the projects, and that's because we had these face-to-face conversations that could have been recorded or overheard, and we had to be really careful. He never used the names of the projects. Then I meet David, and then I learn about all this, and I said, oh my God, this is the same thing. My military source was talking about it. David's talking about it too. They don't know each other at all. They did not know each other from Adam, but there was the same information that really confirmed for me that this is real. And then David showed me the documents because I'd never seen the documents. I'd only been told about it. David showed me the documents. I laid eyes on them. I'm not going to tell you how I saw them, but I'll tell you I saw them. And oh my God, it was terrifying because they were real. The documents were real. I have a military background myself. I know what the documents are supposed to look like, how they look. These were real, and everything in them matched up to what my military source had told me previously. So, absolutely terrifying what they got planned. And they want you to be totally asleep. There's a reason why there have been so many people that have cried wolf over the past 10, 15 years. Well, there's going to be martial law. Well, this is going to happen. Jade Helm's going to happen. These paid disinfo agents were paid to do this, to put you to sleep, so that when somebody like me comes along or David comes along, you don't listen, and you don't take action, you don't do anything. This is a long-term psychological program. If they knew if they had enough people cry wolf, well, 2012. Well, Obama's going to declare martial law. Well, Jade Helm is the beginning of the end. This kept happening and happening and happening, and it demoralized the Patriot movement. And now when somebody starts talking about it, nobody believes them. When you can believe me and you can believe what David said, if you don't believe now, there is no hope for you. What they want you to believe, though, is that your guns are going to protect you. You're going to be able to go underground, and you're going to be able to, have a bunker, or you're going to have provisions, you're going to be off-grid. Some of these disinfo agents out there are peddling this nonsense about bugging out. That's how you're going to get caught and killed and taken underground. If they don't kill you, they're taking you underground. because they got the TTID program. Is anybody talking about it? No. David had the real deal. I've got the real deal. And I'm telling you now, you got to get the hell out of the country. If you don't have a plan to leave the United States, you're good as dead or good as captured. Period.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Before we get out, we're going to talk about William Casey, former CIA director, and his infamous quote, "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false." William Casey, CIA director. That is from his first staff meeting in 1981. Pretty sure that their disinfo campaign is pretty well completed, guys. So much love from God the Father, guys. We have nothing to fear. All right, stand strong in the Lord. Pray for that whole armor of God night and day. And please stay informed. If you'd like, go ahead and subscribe. I will keep putting out these videos. I'll see you soon. Take care.